Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Namaste Experience on this beautiful Tuesday. This is going to be beautiful because I want to start with a prayer from, I guess we could call him our guardian. If we have a guardian here at Namaste Village, or maybe this whole region, I would have to say that one would be Paramahansa Yogananda. That's why right up here we have the largest painting of Yogananda in the whole world, looking straight down upon where we have our sessions. I also noticed that unfortunately, we have this thing put over so we don't get wet when it's raining, if we're in line for food, but now we can't see the other painting of Yogananda. I just noticed that a couple of days ago.
You can take it up when there's no more rain.
But we do have this beautiful painting of Yogananda looking down on us. He's our guardian. He's the one who reminds us of why we're really here. So I want to begin by sharing a prayer. First of all, I want to bring you into my bedroom in the morning. When my alarm clock goes off, this is the prayer that I awaken to. It's the perfect prayer to wake up to. I put it to music, and I'm going to play that in a moment, but before I do that, I wanted to share the actual prayer that Yogananda himself wrote. A prayer which is called God, God, God. Here it is. From the depths of slumber, as I ascend the spiral stairway of wakefulness, I will whisper, say it with me, God, God, God. Thou art my food, and when I break my fast of nightly separation from thee, I will taste thee and mentally say, God, God, God. No matter where I go, the spotlight of my mind will ever keep turning on thee. And in the battle din of activity, my silent war cry will be, God, God, God. When boisterous storms of trials shriek, and when worries howl at me, I will drown their noises loudly chanting, God, God, God. When my mind weaves dreams with threads of memories, then on that magic cloth I will emboss, God, God, God. Every night, in time of deepest sleep, my peace dreams and calls, joy, 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 and my joy comes singing evermore. God, God, God. In waking, eating, working, dreaming, sleeping, serving, meditating, chanting, divinely loving, my soul will constantly hum, unheard by any. God, God, God. So just hold that presence for a moment while we go even deeper into the pulse of this song.
From the depths of slumber I wait and I call your name as I ascend the spiral stairway of wakefulness. You are my food when I
The repetition of the name of God with devotion and love is what helps us turn the loop of guilt into the loop of grace. We've talked before about the guilt loop and how this is the one thing that binds and holds us in place in a world of sickness, pain, and death. The idea that we're guilty, and it's so subtle sometimes. Little things, ideas, thoughts will creep in to affirm you didn't do it right, you could have been better, you shouldn't have done that, you're guilty. And it's like a loop, that whenever that loop begins to lose momentum, something else will come and remind us, oh, you're guilty. And then something else will come and remind you that you're guilty. And the analogy that I've used in the past is when I was a kid and Hot Wheels. How many of you, especially you boys, remember Hot Wheels? Well, we had this track that it was just a big circle, and a friend of mine had this little garage that you would put over the track, had two spinning wheels that were battery operated, so they were spinning, and when the car would go through it, it would shoot out. And then it would shoot out. And whenever it slowed down, but whenever it would get to that point again, it would shoot out. It would accelerate. And this is what we do every time we feel that reminder of guilt. Whatever it is that's happened, small, big, medium, it doesn't matter. It shoots it back out. And we accelerate again until we come back around. And what is required to break that is to remove its value. Now, the way that I've often taught this is perhaps the greatest, most spiritual word I've ever heard in my life, expressed primarily through my daughter when she was about 14. And that word is whatever. Now, of course, when she was 14, it would usually be to dismiss me or her mother, whatever. But until I realized just how spiritual it was, because whenever we feel that guilt loop take over, and we say that, like, whatever, I did it again, whatever. I'm going to probably do it 10 more times today, whatever. Instead of giving it value. When we say that, or when we feel that, what we're doing is we're breaking that, we're putting a pause or a space in that guilt loop. And maybe in the beginning that little Hot Wheel car can make the jump from that little space. But as we do this more and more and just dismiss any thought of guilt, any idea that you did this wrong or that you could ever get anything wrong ultimately, that little space gets wider and wider until you can't make the jump anymore. And then the guilt loop turns into a grace loop. Now even the mistakes that I make become an opportunity for grace. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Before, there were opportunities to judge and to make myself wrong, to make myself feel guilty. But now, as I just dismiss it all, and none of it matters, and I focus only on God, 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 the repetition and the devotion to holiness itself. This is what allows me to move into that loop of grace. As I was walking here this morning, I spent the entire time just chanting. For me, the word that I use is beloved. But not just the word. And I want you to try something. First of all, just tune in and ask the question, what is the word or the symbol that most connects me to that divine pulse of love? Maybe it's beloved. Maybe it is God. Maybe it's something else. Just tune into that for a moment. You don't need to... Actually, say a few of them out loud.
Light.
All is well.
Try and keep it to one syllable, two at the most, and have it be an identification, like Krishna or Christ or beloved. What was that?
Satnam.
Satnam. Anybody else?
Abba.
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 Okay. Abba, Father. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. Whatever word you came up with, I want you just to close your eyes for a moment. And with every breath, just say that inwardly. If it's Abba, just Abba. Abba. Or maybe beloved. 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 And see how that feels. Do it a few more times. Okay. Now for the trick. Because this isn't just about a word or a symbol. This is about feeling a whole and holy connection with that presence. Not just the word, but the presence that that word represents. So what I want you to do now, I'm going to have you repeat that name inwardly again. But this time, not just saying the name, but every time you say it, I want you to think the word love. So if I'm doing beloved, I'm saying beloved, beloved. But as I say the word beloved, I'm thinking the word love. I want you to try that for about 30, 40 seconds. So go ahead and begin. A few more times. Okay. Now, let me share what happens to me, and I'll be curious if you feel this as well. I know that many people that I teach this to, the difference between the first way we did it and the second, when you're thinking the word love, as you say, or think the name, is profound. Something opens up. A connection is made. How many of you felt that? Yeah. Try it. Practice it. When you say the word, it's basically a dual thought. Thinking the word love focuses the mind even more intently on the beloved, or whatever the focus of love it is. St. Francis once asked, why is love not love? Why is love not loved? This is how we love love itself. And there is a communion within that experience, an ecstatic communion, which is where this grace loop leads us. Follow. Because if you really only have two choices, it's like saying the choice between love and fear. You could also say guilt and grace, the two G's. Which will you choose? If you stay with the repetition of whatever name of God resonates deepest with you, while thinking the word love as you say it each time, it will draw you in, and you'll find yourself in this loop of grace that is ecstatic. And isn't that what we want? The ecstasy of divine communion, of oneness with God. Do you think that this is what Yogananda was calling forth when he awakes from the depths of slumber? And the first words out of his mouth in his mind are God, God, God. He's not just saying words, I promise you. Yogananda became the master that he is because he was able to link those words with the reality of love itself, which we share with love itself. So once again, if we claim that this is the only thing we want, if we claim to believe the reality, if we say that my only desire is to focus on the truth that is forever true, then this is how we do it. By keeping this foremost in the front of our mind. Not only the words, but the passionate connection and devotion with those words. I'm a proponent of whatever works, and what works for you may be slightly different than what works for me. So play with that. I promise you, it will reap dividends that you will not believe. Maybe you will. But the power and the passion within just chanting whatever name of God resonates deepest with us and giving all of our heart, all of our love to that love. This is how we answer that question that Francis asked. Why is love not loved? So before we leave, I want to turn it over to Vicky. I think Vicky is back today. Are you out there, dear one?
I am, Brother James.
There you are.
I am. I'm so happy to come in on this prayer today. You know, for me, and it's not an accident that you are the one, I think, James, it called us a contemplative community. And we have entered a time where, for me, it's an era of holiness, that we're living a holiness that's personal but spacious and global, universal, holiness that is a way of life, not just a prayer, a morning prayer, a night prayer, or prayer when we're in trouble, but we're living with this wondrous, profound awareness that we're awakening from this dream of time and space into the love that is boundless. And all of the prayers and the helpful little hints of how we each do this, they help all of us so that 24/7 we're in this awareness. And these little, whether they're prayers or mantras or little kind of like spiritual tricks of the trade, keep me focused that way. And the prayer I loved best was at the end of your song, I am yours. That's a prayer of abandon. I wake up, that's my prayer when I wake up in the morning. Dear God, I'm all yours. Here I am. It's like, I'm all yours. That I am yours. We are not our own. We're not. The whole division and the whole idea of separation was just based on an idea that we could be on our own, and that would be more fun than being wholly joined, one with all, with everything. So I love that last line, I am yours. For me, I'm a Jesus girl. It's like my brother Jesus, right up there with you, Brother James. My brother Jesus, he just pulls me right in all the time. It's like he is just, he just saying that name it just melts my heart into love. And the other thing I want to say, I know that the Hot Wheels, the cars, because of Tommy, my grandson. So what I would consider is, how you go through the loop and then boom, it accelerates. That point of acceleration, the acceleration for me has been gratitude. When I'm lost for a moment or I'm sluggish, coming home on the slow side, I'll flip into thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't even know what for yet, but I know in your hands, this is a great blessing. Thank you. And that, bam, just like that, accelerates me right back onto that lane of grace, because that's what we're living now. And we are the vanguard of that. We are the ones coming into time. And it's why we're here to open up all those pathways of grace and peace and celebration and life, to live by holiness. And holiness isn't something somber. It's something that is freeing. I am yours. I'm not my responsibility anymore. I'm yours. I'm yours. It's like, it's a breath of release. And why not be grateful? Anyway, that whole feeling of love is it's all of these words. It's grace, it's gratitude, but it's given us to be the ones that come here, and we get to be together, just like in an abbey anywhere, in any monastic setting. Brothers and sisters join together for their prayers together, to stay focused together, to join and remember their purpose together. And we are given that here in time through all the technology of this Zoom and different medias, that we come together and remember we are the era of holiness, lighting up the world with joy, with gratitude, with grace, that our lives are examples. You know, people think we teach by talking or by having bodies listen and this and that. And I know the way we teach is by our example, the frequency and the energy we have of devotion to I am yours. I belong to love. That devotion, when we live that devotion, I know we're communicating to the whole of creation, not to just our brothers here in time. We're singing in the chorus of that universal song of love that's always singing to us, and we're joining the chorus. So gratitude is my acceleration button right there. And it's ours. As we simply, where we are, live lives of holiness, lives of love, we're opening up that field for everyone to recognize it and step into it. And what a sweet life that gives us. It is a life of joy, of simplicity, of grace. And it may be we never leave our houses, or we may travel all over the world. It doesn't matter. The one constant is I am yours. I am yours. And that takes us. It takes us out of our idea of being on our own, right back into that track of oneness and holiness. So, Brother James, that's what I have to say about all that this morning, and everyone. And you know, I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. So good to have you with us. And as you were speaking, three more tricks of the trade came into my mind. I like how you put it in that way. They're tools. You know, we do have a toolbox, and a carpenter that has a toolbox but doesn't reach into it and use his or her tools is not a very good carpenter. And we are called to use the tools that we are given. So the tool that came to me as you were speaking, Vicki, were the 3 G's. One leads to the next. The first G, as you said, is gratitude. So important. Gratitude leads to grace, and grace leads to grandeur. Now, in A Course in Miracles, it talks about the difference between grandeur and grandiosity. Big difference. Grandiosity is of the ego. It's look at me. Everybody look at me. Look how grand I am. Instead of grandeur, which is look at thee. Look at thee. Look at the holiness within you. Remember that the only job of a guru is to spell the word. G. You are you. The grandeur of that holy vision. So, together we say, Amen, 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 e punto. Thank you, everyone. Brilliant. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.
Thank you.
Love you. See you tomorrow.
Namaste.
Keep them laughing.
Have a great day.
Bye now.